Hey guys, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington. Gonna bring you guys my review videos for the books I picked up this week. Some pretty good books, some books that weren't too strong, but overall, I'm happy with the week. So I'll just get started with the first book, and that is Edge of the Spider-Verse issue number 5. And there's the cover to it. This is the final issue of this Edge of Spider-Verse kind of mini, I guess, getting to know some of the spider characters throughout the other dimensions. And I have to say that the first couple issues of this were pretty good. The Noir Spider-Man, the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man, or Spider-Woman rather, and I forgot what the other one was, or some of the other ones. Well, for the most part, there was like a couple good ones, but then afterwards, there weren't that many good ones. In this one, it just wasn't that kind of that interesting, really. This is kind of a spider person. It's a little girl who's kind of gets chosen by a spider that gets put in a spider, like a Spider-Man mechanical suit, as you see here, and it's definitely weird. To be honest, I didn't understand much of the story. I felt like in this story and in some other comics that I've read before, that the writers kind of overwrite, and they'll talk about some things that are very like over the top ideas, and they pack so much into it that you really don't even know what's happening. And sometimes with the art, it kind of helps in the confusion because the art is kind of confusing, and then kind of just how characters develop throughout the story is kind of confusing. Like, there's a Daredevil equivalent in this book. I have no idea what he's there for, but I just know he teams up with this spider whose name is Penny Parker, not Peter Parker. And it was just, kind of there. I was reading it until the end, where two other spider characters from other dimensions, one including Spider-Ham, the pig Spider-Man, showed up, and that's really the only part I enjoyed, was like the Spider-Ham part. And but yeah, so Edge of Spider-Verse issue number 5. These Edge of Spider-Verse books were not really necessary to the Spider-Verse thing. I guess they were really just some books that if you wanted to get to know some of the spider characters that are going to be in there, that's how you get to know them. So there's that. Next book here is Spider-Man 2099. This also ties into the Spider-Verse, and this one was actually really good, coming off of the last arc where 2099 Spider-Man ended up fighting Scorpion in some other country to save Tiberius Stone and all this kind of stuff. Miguel kind of convinces Tiberius to put his efforts into remaking a superhero, or not superhero, but supervillain jail that Parker Industries failed at doing in the Amazing Spider-Man book. While at the same time, we get scenes from other dimensions of other Miguel O'Hara's. So it's not just Peter Parker's, but it's also Miguel O'Hara's that are being affected in other dimensions and being killed by Morlun. And each time one of those Spider-Men get killed, it has an effect on the Miguel O'Hara that's in the 616 universe. So it's a pretty cool thing that they were doing. It's cool to see other Miguel O'Hara's in other universes and other dimensions. And we also establish in here kind of that Morlun is avoiding the 616 dimension for whatever reason. And well, there is a reason. I just don't want to kind of say it. I don't want to ruin it. But Spider-Man 2099 is definitely one of the better Spider-Man books coming out right now. But there's a lot of Spider-Man books, so yeah. there's that. That was issue number 5. The next book I have here is Superior Foes of Spider-Man, issue 16. This is the second to last issue. So next issue will be the last issue, and then the series is done. I agree with Scott running with comics. He said that he doesn't know how this book is going to continue to its next issue. Neither do I, because they seem to wrap it up pretty nicely in here. And although there is one character that they didn't wrap up with, or they didn't wrap up with Shocker's arc. So I think Shocker will be the main character kind of for the next issue. But it seems like Fred's story, Boomerang's story, has been wrapped up. And this issue was pretty hilarious, and at the same time really interesting, and just like it's an all-around really good story from start to finish. It's all really just one story, one big story arc that lasts for pretty much 17 issues, with the exception of a couple of issues that kind of strayed away from the story because Nick Spencer and Steve Lieber weren't writing those books for whatever reason. But for the most part, it's just been one big story. And it's all been great. So I encourage y'all to pick it up and trade, because it's definitely a good read, and has been a lot of fun to be picking up. And now it's over pretty much. So yeah, the next book I have here is Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 6. I love the cover. This issue was pretty cool because we get an explanation of how Norman Osborn and Peter Parker are back. And I know some people, when I read the explanation of it, I was totally down with it. I just went with it. But I could see other people being kind of like, wow, like, of course, that's the kind of explanation that they would use for this, especially because it's the Ultimate Universe, and the Ultimate Universe is kind of something that you can do whatever you want with it. So, you know, you can kill Spider-Man and have Spider-Man be dead, things like that, so without affecting what people really know of Spider-Man. So there's still that, but it's hard to have a Spider-Man book that does not have Peter Parker in it at all and is kind of based from Peter Parker's life with Peter Parker's main cast in it. It's hard to have that, and I don't know, it adds a really cool dimension to it now that Peter is back and Miles is still around, and Bendis has been handling it great. I trust Bendis with this book because this and Daredevil seem to be his main. For me, they're what I know Bendis for at Marvel, at least. I know he does a bunch of events and he's done Avengers and things like that, but his best works at Marvel, I would say, are Ultimate Spider-Man #1 and Daredevil #2, because he's been writing Ultimate Spider-Man since issue #1. So he's been writing it for, I think, 14 years now. And that's pretty crazy because it still remains consistent in how good it is. Probably been the best. Probably been better than most Spider-Man issues consistently of all Spider-Man issues for the past 14 years. So, and in this issue, we just continue to build up the tension between Green Goblin and Miles Morales and Peter Parker and all this kind of stuff. And one big character definitely meets their demise in one way that it would not make sense if he doesn't meet his demise. So, yeah. The next book I have here is Deadly Class, issue number 8. My only indie book for this week. And it was crazy. And like in this issue, we get to see Marcus's past that he always alludes to, and we get to see why this Chester character that is kind of stalking Marcus and ruining his life is back, and why he hates Marcus. And to put it short and simple, his past is pretty messed up. And it's not really his fault, but it kind of is. And at the end of this issue, we get something that happens that is definitely going to be putting a lot of tension in this next story arc. I think this second arc right here has the potential to be like far better than the first arc, and I love that first arc. So Deadly Class issue number 8, definitely shaping up to be pretty crazy. Next book, Miss Marvel issue number 9. Miss Marvel is always a good book, and in the last issue, a giant robot sent by the inventor attacks Kamala's school while she's in it and while class is in session. And everybody kind of, escapes the rubble except Kamala, because she has to fight this giant robot, and she doesn't have her costume, so she has to fight this robot in her regular clothes. And so it gives us some tension with her trying to hide her identity while still trying to save everybody. And she does it in like a comical way. It's funny, but it also has suspense to it, and it's just a really fun book, lighthearted book. And we get some advancements in her knowledge about the Inhumans and things like that, and kind of her situation. And Lockjaw, this dog, is really awesome in the book. He's been a really cool character since he kind of showed up in a couple issues ago. So that's Miss Marvel issue number 9. This book is just always really fun and really lighthearted, but still kind of suspenseful. And then the final book I have here is Daredevil issue number 9. This is always my favorite book every week. And this issue, last issue, the Purple Kids kind of convinced Purple Man to jump in front of a trolley and, pretty much get hit by a trolley. And in this issue, the Purple Kids are just going about being kids, and whatever they want, they get, and whatever they want to do, they do. So they start driving a police car. They steal a police car, start driving it around. They're convincing people of all these kind of things. And meantime, Matt, Foggy, and Kirsten are going out to kind of have like a lunch or something. They're talking about the book deal that Kirsten's dad offered for Matt's story, and this whole kind of conversation they have is like really lighthearted and really, really funny. And then like the tides just shift, like complete 180 once Daredevil gets involved with kind of the Purple Kids, and stuff starts going crazy. And these kids are definitely going to be a match for Daredevil, seeing as how the Purple Man himself is a hard kind of villain to defeat, let alone 5 kids with even stronger powers together than the Purple Man. But the way this ends definitely puts an interesting dynamic to how this story is going to play out. And also some elements show up within this story that might affect Matt's kind of personal psyche, might affect this kind of new Matt Murdock, new outgoing and fun-loving Matt Murdock that we've been getting from Mark Waid's run. This is definitely just a really good book, especially if you're a Daredevil fan, and I really recommend it to anybody, even if you're not. But that's really it. That's all my books. It was a lot of books. I was going to try to review everything quickly, but a lot of books meant, longer videos. So anyways, I'm Wellington signing off for the Comic Book Lowdown. I'll see you guys next time.